And it's Ken Kreitzer for Talking Business, and get a chance to talk to one of our good friends who's got a conference coming up upstate New York, and that is John Witkowski. John is the CEO of the Independent Bankers Association of New York State. He's got a conference up in Clayton, New York, October 7th to the 9th. And I have to always say, John was a pretty fair quarterback at Columbia and in the NFL. John, good to see you.
You mean pretty fair? It's okay. That was fair.
You
That's
told me
all.
about your time with the Detroit Lions.
Different time from the Lions when I played to it is today. They're a much better team today.
Yeah, well, it's always good to talk football with you. You really did have a spectacular career, and but now you are in banking and CEO of the Independent Bankers Association of New York State, and your fall conference coming up in Clayton. Um, and just tell us about it. There's some changes since the July get together of your organization. About 200 bankers got together in July, and that was before interest rates dropped, and there was a different presidential candidate involved. So tell us a little bit about what you got planned October 7th to the 9th.
Yeah, this is we've kind of adjusted this program over the last few years. This is our executive leadership symposium. And what we've asked banks to do is bring some of their rising stars within their bank to to this event so they can meet and network with other people, but also hear from some of our great service providers and partners in business. So this is the second in-person meeting that we have. We have two a year. One is our annual convention, which you were at in July, and this is the second one. And yeah, things have changed in a couple of months, and I expect things will change again in another 35 or 40 days with the election coming up. But there was a cut in interest rates. Hopefully, that's the first of a few, and coming down the pike. But we'll have to see how things turn out. There's still some issues on the horizon that we need to take care of and need to be aware of as community banks. So all good though, all good. I think most of our banks are doing very well, if not all, are doing very well in their communities, and that's what community banking is all about: is making sure they take care of and support their communities that they thrive in.
Absolutely. And certainly interest rates has been a topic of your meetings in recent years. Also, commercial real estate has been kind of a much talked about topic, and the election coming up. But it all comes down to independent bankers are there to serve their communities, and they do that so well, and that's what differentiates them. How do your community banks differentiate themselves against the real big money center banks?
Well, it's interesting because the big money center banks are, they're in all the major cities. I'm not saying that community banks aren't, but a different set of criteria for their customers. If you look at community banks, they really look at supporting the communities that they live in. And while we have some bigger community banks under 10 billion in assets, they all are pillars in their community, in the communities that they serve. They might be over a number of different counties in New York State, but they are considered that community bank that people look to and go to for sponsors, for just having that local banker, that local friendly banker there that will talk to them and help them. I'm not saying the big banks don't do that, but at the same time, having a community bank in their community for 75 or 125 or 150 years makes a big difference, and it goes down from generation to generation. Having that local friendly banker who can make immediate decisions is very helpful, and very helpful to small businesses and their consumers in that marketplace.
Well, terrific set of speakers over. I started with a Monday night dinner, and Tuesday at Brian Jones, Federal Home Loan, Patrick Dix on AI and future of banking, and William Nowak on security coming down on the roster of speakers. Good programs coming up.
Well, again, I mean, we try to get the speakers that are timely. Brian Jones is going to come in and talk a little about the economy before the election, kind of give us an update on where things are, where things stand, and his projections of what's going to go on from the Federal Home Loan Bank. And then the other important topics, AI. AI is a big important topic for uh, every financial services company out there. And we just got to make sure that the community banks, handle it right and get to know what AI is all about and how it can help and support them. Cyber and fraud is a big issue these days in community banks. In all of banking, it's a big issue. And there are very smart people out there that can scam you and with potential fraud that use their intelligence for no good instead of good. And they do it every day and trying to get into banks or trying to get into personal accounts of consumers or small businesses, and it's tough. So we try to do everything we can to provide some insight, some education on some of the issues that these speakers have seen across the country that they can share with our community banks.
Now you have Nelda Cronin speaking on cyber uh, security from Travelers. James Branco talk a little bit about fintechs and Stephanie Jenkins coming in from ICBA. And the last talk, one of the last talks is from Brian McGurk on profitability. So very strong speaker roster.
Yeah, it's a variety of issues that impact the banks, and we try to come up with topics and speakers again that will touch on things that it might not be happening in today, might not be something they're concerned about today, but they can learn from it. We have a lot of business partners, a lot of our preferred partners that are coming to this meeting as well to give them time to talk to the banks that are attending. And again, the topics that we try to provide to these banks are things that may not be something they need today, but tomorrow, next week, next month, at least they know that somebody spoke about it, somebody discussed it, and that they have a place that they can go for, a little bit more of an understanding, a little bit more information.
And you're going to have, you've had a terrific uh, chairman this year, Steve Woodard, and is passing the baton to Phil Pecora of Genesee Regional Bank. Tell us about your leadership.
Yeah, we again, I think Ivanese has strong leadership. Steve Wood has been fantastic to work with and work for. As a chairman, he's been right there every step of the way, being involved in our ICBA Capital Summit down in DC, working with us at the state level for any of the legislation that we need to oppose or support. He has been fantastic to work with and very helpful and a good leader. Phil coming in is just as strong. Phil is runs a very successful bank out of Rochester. Um, they're commercially focused, but again, his leadership and his thought process and how he goes about his leading his bank will pay dividends for us as well. Looking forward to working with Phil for the next year. And then after that, we have Mark Lavarnway, who's a community banker in Watertown, New York. So he's right up by Clayton. But again, and then we have Tim Dickey, who's coming on the executive board from Bank of Holland. So again, a great support from the executive committee, and we have new board members coming on as well this year that we're going to vote in during this meeting, our board meeting on October 6th. So it's a good time of year, exciting time of year. Our fiscal year ends October 31, so this is a perfect time to get those people on board, and we'll just continue to make our way through 2024-25 and continue to support our community banks in New York State.
And we're looking forward to joining you and doing reporting on some of the highlights, talking to some of your bankers and some of your technology partners there, October 7th to 9th in beautiful Clayton, New York. I had no idea that it's the gateway to the Thousand Island district and upstate New York. I imagine the leaves will be starting to turn and it'll be picturesque and and we're all looking forward to watching Monday Night Football with you as you do your play-by-play analysis of what's happening.
Yeah, play-by-play analysis would be great, but I enjoy watching the games with people getting questions about what's going on. Again, I'm out of the game for a long time, but you still watch it, you still see what's going on, and you can pick little things out that maybe some others can't that didn't play the game. But it's fun to be there. It's fun to get some of those questions and be able to help analyze. But yeah, Clayton, New York is a beautiful place. Thousand Islands Harbor Hotel is a beautiful location right on the St. Lawrence River. We look forward to going back there in a week, and the leaves should be changing, and we're looking forward to having you come back and help us and interview some of our partners and our banks.
Now, looking forward to enjoy that, and it'll be a great conference, great chance to learn from your speakers and all of the participants. So that's the Independent Bankers Association of New York State, your fall 2024 leadership symposium in Clayton, New York, and John Witkowski, CEO. Great to talk with you today. We look forward to seeing you in Clayton next week.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to having you up there. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate that. And it's Ken Kreitzer for Talking Business, and thanks for watching.
Go Army.
Be Navy.